If you're still trying to figure out the perfect thing to say to her, you're fighting a losing battle. Here is the uncomfortable truth that most dating coaches won't tell you because it doesn't sell pickup lines. A woman who has lived enough life, who has been married, divorced, burned, rebuilt, she stopped caring about your words roughly a decade ago. She can smell a rehearsed compliment from 3 tables away. What she actually responds to, what flips a switch in her brain that she didn't even know she had, is completely nonverbal. It is touch. But not the kind you think. Not grabbing, not hovering, not the awkward pat-on-the-back energy your buddy gives you at the bar. I am talking about 5 specific micro-touches that build real trust and connection on a biological level. When you do these right, and I mean exactly right, you create a sense of safety most men never learn how to give. Number 4 on this list is so subtle she might not even notice it consciously, but her body will absolutely respond. And number 5? Relationship counselors often point to this one when couples are trying to rebuild closeness. Here is how they work. First, understand what you are actually doing here. Research out of DePauw University showed that when strangers were allowed to communicate using only touch, with 0 facial expressions or verbal cues, they could identify complex emotions like gratitude and sympathy with over 70% accuracy. Your skin is basically a secondary brain, and for women over 35 who have dealt with enough empty promises to fill a novel, their trust filter runs almost entirely through physical sensation rather than verbal processing. If your touch says something different than your mouth does, she will believe your hands every single time. So let's get into specifics. Move 1, the anchor placement. This is when you walk through a door together, restaurant, office, anywhere, and your hand settles on her lower back, not her waist, not hover hand floating an inch above the fabric, the small of her back. Now, most guys do this wrong by tapping it twice like they are drumming a beat. Do not do that. Place your palm flat, fingers spread, and leave it there for 3 full seconds while she steps through. This area is one of the most sensitive parts of her back, and steady, calm pressure there sends an unconscious message. I've got the perimeter. You are safe here. For a woman who has been making decisions, managing crises, and carrying mental loads for years, that micro message hits harder than any "you're beautiful" ever could. It tells her she can stop scanning the room for threats because you are already watching. Move 2, the double cradle hold. You are sitting across from each other, or walking side by side, and you reach for her hand. Standard move, right? Everybody does this. The upgrade is taking your second hand and gently covering hers, the sandwich method. Both of your palms enclosing one of her hands. It signals undivided attention, the kind of grounded presence people notice instantly. Most men she has dated held her hand while scrolling Twitter with the other one. When both of your hands are engaged with hers, and your eyes are up meeting hers, it creates a contrast so sharp that she registers it as exceptional presence. She cannot ignore it because her prior experience baseline doesn't include being held that deliberately. Move 3, the proximity pull. You are sitting watching a movie, or standing at a party, and without saying anything, you reach out and tug her gently until her hip or shoulder presses against yours. Not aggressively, just closing the gap that felt wrong to you. In attachment theory, the instinctive desire to reduce physical distance between secure partners is called proximity seeking. It signals that her company is not just tolerated, but craved. Many women over 40 have spent relationships earning closeness, performing, pleasing, accommodating, just to get a hug. When you pull her near simply because the space between you felt irritating, you show her something different. You show her that her presence is sufficient reason to want her close. No conditions attached. Conditions. Move 4, the nape pass. The back of the neck, right where her hair meets the collar, is one of the most sensitive spots on the body. As you are leaning in to whisper something, or even reaching past her to grab a drink, let your fingertips graze that spot, lightly, briefly, purposefully. A younger woman might shrug it off, but a mature woman knows exactly what that touch implies. Read her first. If she leans in or doesn't pull away, it says you are confident enough to enter her space and gentle enough that she never feels cornered. That duality, attractive but safe, is what makes her breathing shallow out before she even realizes she is reacting. Move 5, the 20-second reset. This is the extended embrace, not the 2-second bro hug with the back pat. I mean arms fully wrapped, chest to chest, and you stay there for a minimum of 20 seconds. Count it in your head if you have to. Research on physical touch shows that hugs lasting 20 seconds or more are linked to oxytocin release while helping lower cortisol, the stress hormone. Physiologically, you are helping her nervous system shift out of fight or flight mode and into rest and bond mode. After age 40, most women are operating with a low-grade chronic stress baseline, from careers, kids, aging parents, everything. When you hold her long enough that she physically relaxes into you, like her weight shifts and she exhales fully, you become associated with relief. You become the only person in her life who makes the noise stop. That kind of association builds loyalty faster than anything you could possibly say. Now, here is where 90% of men fail with all of this information. They learn the moves, but they miss the timing window entirely because they cannot read the room. A mature woman will not shout her interest from the rooftops. She will send quiet physical signals that she is ready for you to close distance. But if you do not recognize those signs within the first few minutes of seeing her, you lose. You need to know exactly what those unconscious behaviors look like. If this hit home, hit subscribe here on Silent Power so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop a like if you're ready to actually use this, and let me know in the comments which one of these 5 you're going to try first.